Fitzpatrick takes the snap, drops back, lobs it back right corner. Decker! He's got it! Touchdown! Eric Decker scores! And the Jets have won it in overtime!
This is the Jet Take with Ben Blessington and Kyle Fahey.
Welcome back to another episode of the Jet Take. It's been a while since we've had one of these episodes. The New York Jets have won a football game. Kyle Fahey, how are you doing, man?
Yeah, this is a rare commodity. Ben Blessington, Kyle Fahey, and a Jets win, all present and in the air on the same episode. I don't think that's happened in since December.
Probably, yeah. Well, so welcome back to Kyle. We did record an episode last week with Kyle Smith, but never got uploaded. As I said to Kyle before the show, I think we could have an archive of every Jet Take episode that was just never published.
Yeah.
But it's, we'll all release them, and then in like 5 years, and you'll just be able to listen to us talking about just these, players that you've just never heard of or forgot about. Bring back some nostalgia. But anyways, Kyle, welcome back. Your official return to the Jet Take. You made it through a hurricane, so I made it through a fire, and you made it through. Okay, wouldn't say that. You made it through a hurricane. I made it through some fire, so we're doing pretty good. But again, I guess Kyle.
Oregon's always burning, aren't they? There's always.
You had potential for the joke there. You didn't really. Could have said the grass is always burning. And okay, anyways, but
it's not grass though.
It is grass. Anyways, what are we talking about? I don't even. This show is 31 minutes. The show is 31 minutes behind schedule. So we're killing it today, Kyle. All right. Really quickly, we'll do some plugs, and then we're gonna hop on into it. We'll talk about the Jets win against the Dolphins. We'll analyze each position, and we'll talk a little bit about the college quarterbacks. I think Kyle and I wanted to do it at the beginning of the year, but I guess we'll have to start now.
Yeah.
Is we're gonna rank the 4 quarterbacks, the top ones: Rosen, Darnold, Jackson, and Allen, and then maybe we add a 5th guy, depending on who is playing well that week. So we wanted to do our little college quarterback rankings. As I said, analyze the game, the position groups, as well as a few other questions, and then we'll bring on some callers. So it should be a fun show tonight. Probably a little shorter just because, I don't know. we're behind schedule, so I think we've probably deterred a few callers. But without further ado, let's hop into it. As always, you can follow us on Twitter at The Jet Take. We're on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook as well at the same handle. If you want to listen to our show, we're on iTunes, SoundCloud, Stitcher, iHeartRadio. You can also find us on turnonthejets.com. Kyle and I both write articles there. You can find our written work there as well as our podcast. A huge thank you to those guys. If you're not following Joe Caparoso and those guys on Turn on the Jets, go ahead and do so. Some of the best follows. I'm not just saying this because we're part of their network. I mean, before even when we started the show a year and a half ago, with 2 years, we're getting close to 2 years here. But
anniversary.
I mean, it's still a few. Well, I want to say close. It's still like 5 months away, but so
just
year and a half.
More Jets
in the year and a half that we've been doing the show, I mean, he's still Joe Caparoso and Dalvin Osario, Jeff Lore. I mean, a lot of those guys are some of the best Jet follows you can have out there. So if you're not following any of those guys, please make sure you do. As always, you can follow myself at Ben W. Blessington. You can follow Kyle Fahey at Kyle Fahey NFL because he's full of himself, so he had to add the NFL handle.
It's like my ego.
Yeah, so. Boost his confidence.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's get into it. And as always, you can get official New York Jets tickets. You could have gotten the ones against the Dolphins, but now the only 2 remaining games are this Sunday against the Jaguars. If you want discounted tickets, you can go to the Jets website and enter the discount code, the Jet Take. That'll get you discounted tickets, as well as the Falcons game. We've had some issues. We also have a sponsorship with Seat Giant, but we've had some issues. Well, we've gotten some complaints that it wasn't working. No, we can keep it in. If you've tried to use the Seat Giant code and it hasn't worked, please let us know. We've had one complaint about it not working, so we don't know if that was a user error or if that's something on Seat Giant part. Well, we'll try to reach out to them this week. But if you are interested in discounted tickets from their home and away, you can go there. Any Jets tickets, they're very discounted, and probably towards the end of the season you'll be able to get really discounted tickets there. But just try it if you're interested. If it's not working, shoot us a DM or a tweet or or however you feel like you can get in contact with us. You can email us at thejettake@gmail.com, and we'll try to troubleshoot that issue. All right, without further ado, Kyle, let's get into this. Yeah,
you almost did it again.
I almost did it. My best friend's name. Yeah, my best friend's name is Teddy, so I almost. Okay, anyways, 4-letter words that start with Kyle. Could have made it.
What?
Or K. Let's start with K. My bad.
You can't.
We're off today, Kyle.
What are they burning out in Oregon, Ben?
I don't even know. I
think it's affecting you.
It is. It's just something in the air.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's get into it, Kyle. Obviously, the New York Jets coming off a terrific win against the Miami Dolphins. I mean, after the game against Oakland where we just got shellacked, we couldn't even get a quarterback pressure. Our defense looked awful. At times, the offense looked like it was okay, specifically Jermaine Kearse and Josh McCown. This is a game against Oakland. But they came out against Miami, home opener, a lot of Dolphins fans in the crowd, a lot of negative energy surrounding the team. And they proved a lot of doubters wrong. I think they definitely showed that there is some sense of there can be a sense of optimism around the young players in this team, and that's key. That doesn't mean the Jets are going to go out there and go 10-6 and make the playoffs. No, they very might well go 3-13, but it at least showed that guys like Jamal Adams, like Brandon Shell, even heck Lawrence Thomas. You can go to Lack Edwards, Elijah McGuire. There are a lot of young guys that played. Darren Lee's another one who really stepped up, that really played well in this game. We could keep going down the line. We'll get into position by position in a bit, but that really played well, and that's what you have to hope for in this. It's not really about the wins and losses this year. It's about whether the young guys played well. I would be happier with this win if it was Bryce Petty at quarterback, because then I could really fully support them trying to win as many games as possible, because it's like, hey, I mean, if Bryce Petty's thrown 3 touchdowns, it's like, well, we don't need a top quarterback. I mean, we could use a top pick. But if the Jets are winning games and Bryce Petty's under center, I'm going to be, full support. And, I am for Josh McCown. It doesn't matter what you do as a fan. As a Jets fan, I personally just cheer for them to win. I expect a loss. It doesn't really matter what we do. But anyways, back on the point, I thought a lot of the young guys played well. I was very impressed with all aspects of the game, from coaching, and I was very critical of Todd Bowles after that Buffalo Bills game on this show, and I was not on the air, but last week after the Raiders game, I was ready for the Jets to fire him, but he coached a terrific game. I thought the defense, the secondary, linebackers, and defensive line all played well. The offense played well, special teams. I mean, it was all aspects of the game for the New York Jets played well. So I was very impressed overall. And yeah, you just have to be happy with those that there are young guys on this team that they can build around. And yeah, whether the Jets go 2-14 and they pick Sam Darnold next year and they might have a new head coach, that might be what reality next year. But you can still say, okay, look, now we have Sam Darnold, and I know we went 2-14 last year, but it's like, hey, we can build around Jamal Adams, Marcus May. There are guys like Elijah McGuire's playing well. The offensive line's playing well. There are little bits and pieces, and look, I said it before the season. I actually thought this team got better than they did last year. And you look around at the guys they cut. Eric Decker, he's not doing too much in Tennessee. Brandon Marshall's doing nothing. Darrelle Revis sitting on the couch. Ryan Fitzpatrick backup for the Buccaneers. So all these guys. David Harris
soon to be a starter.
I think David Harris has played 4 snaps for New England, or all these guys, big names that the Jets let go, are doing nothing. So I was very adamant that I think this team got better. And I think it is a possibility that they win more than 5 games, which they did last year. Kyle and I will go back and forth on whether or not that's the right move. But I think you just have to be happy. Look, Jets beat a rival. Jets played a dominant game. Young guys specifically looked very good. So you can't be upset about this. Look, even if you're still cheering for the tank, and I know Mr. Fahey is, and we're going to get to you in just a second with your thoughts, you can at least look at it. You can cheer for the rest of the 13 games to be losses or whatever, but it's like the Jets are 14 games? No. Yeah, 13 games. But the Jets beat the Dolphins. If you're going to have one game, I think this is a good one to have against a rival where you shut them out until the last play of the game. I think it was a terrific game on all aspects, and I'm particularly happy with the young guys. So, Mr. Money, take it away.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest. I didn't even watch the first half of the game. I went to like a trampoline park. I didn't care about the game, honestly.
You went to a trampoline park?
Yeah.
What?
It was amazing. It's so fun. But anyway, it was actually a time in my life where I just did not care. It was so strange. It was such a strange feeling. I got home. I was tired. I turned on the Jets game, and we're up 17-0, and I'm like, what the hell is this? What is going on right now? Why are you messing up my tank? I started to watch it, and I'm like looking at the guys who are really standing out, and it was all the young guys, and you can't believe how happy I got so fast. Ben, I absolutely agree with you. The young guys made the difference in this game. The young guys won the game. Say what you want about Josh McCown and his stat line. He didn't win us the game. He made some nice throws. He did the good game management game. That's what he had. He had a nice Ryan Fitzpatrick game. He's probably going to get paid because of it at some team next year. But it was the young guys who carried us this week. On offense, ASJ, our boy, the curse is reversed. He's back, baby. The glue is back. Immediate impact as a blocker and as a receiver. It's hard to guard him, and apparently it's hard to get past him at the line. That was something he struggled with in Tampa Bay. I'm glad to see that he's really improved. He was going against some A-plus type of linemen, and he was doing his job well. He didn't allow a single pressure in his first game back in the NFL. I was expecting a little rust. It wasn't there. That man was clean as can be. He looked ready to go. Brandon Shell held his own against Cameron Wake and Ndamukong Suh and Jordan Phillips and all those other guys who switch around to different positions because they all go from defensive end to defensive tackle, 3-tech, 7-tech, wherever they're lined up, because I'm forgetting who the defensive coordinator is, but he's pretty creative. Brandon Shell held his own. Same goes for Kelvin Beachum. Same goes for James Carpenter. The O-line had a phenomenal week. Bilal Powell, Elijah McGuire, they both had really good games. I'm really excited for Elijah McGuire. Liking what we're seeing out of him. It looks like one of those mid-round McCagnon picks that, hey, nobody really talked about, but he's really panning out. At least so far. The third game into his career, but he's looking good. It's usually not this easy for late-round running backs to flourish this much in the NFL at this level. I'm not saying he's like Kareem Hunt flourishing, but in his role, he's doing it well, exceptionally well for a rookie. Wide receivers, Jermaine Kearse, Robbie Anderson, they got the job done. Robbie Anderson, finally, he got hit wide open. That dude's open for that route 8 times a game. It's about time that Josh McCown hit him or Ryan Fitzpatrick hit him or Bryce Petty hit him. That if we had a good quarterback, you could see that twice a game from Robbie Anderson. Jermaine Kearse making great possession catches. Jeremy Curley back in his old stomping grounds, MetLife Stadium. The dude owns the place. Put him in the Ring of Honor. Another great game from him. Really quality veteran. I would like to see Ardarius Stewart get more reps, though. I'm not going to lie. I'm a big Ardarius Stewart fan.
One catch, but it was a huge one on third down.
It was a nice catch, too. Defensive side of the ball. D-line, no stacks statistically. Nothing eye-popping. But their presence was felt throughout the game. Leonard Williams literally at times was triple-teamed, and that led up to guys like Muhammad Wilkerson, Coney Ely, and then the one guy, the outside linebacker, I'm forgetting his name, who he signed this week out of
Bass, Brandon Bass.
When Bass,
I
don't think it's Brandon. I think that's somebody else.
Wait, hold on.
Bass and Donahue were getting...
That's a basketball player. Hold on.
Yeah.
Keep talking. I got it.
Bass and Donahue were getting...
David Bass. My bad.
David Bass and Dylan Donahue were getting pressure throughout the game, which was kind of shocking. Honestly, somebody's doing something right if those guys are getting pressure. They're primarily depth guys at this point in his career. I thought the linebackers did a phenomenal job, specifically Demario Davis. Kyle and I ripped him on the show that wasn't released. We absolutely ripped him. I'm not going to lie. He proved us both wrong in this game. Am I expecting that in the season for the future? No, and you shouldn't, because that just happened to be a phenomenal game for Demario. I don't know what he was doing.
Well,
I don't know.
I think he's had a nice season. I thought this.
No.
Kyle, obviously he's made a few mistakes, but I thought this. I watched some tape of his, in Cleveland, and in 2015 he wasn't really played that much, but at times, 2012, 2013, 2014, he really flashed for the Jets. So I was a Demario Davis fan. I think he struggles when he has to cover on the wheel routes, but as far as a guy who is a leader in the locker room, you can tell he's a very vocal leader. He's always leading them in the pregame huddles and the postgame huddles and stuff. He's a leader in the locker room. He's a veteran. He's a guy that can show other linebackers on this team, like Darren Lee, Julian Stanford, the ways to prepare. And he had a terrific game. I think he was Pro Football Focus's highest graded defender
Yep.
Possibly even player. I just know I saw the defensive graphic. Yeah, DeMario had a terrific game. He was getting after the quarterback. He was stopping the run. I mean, J.J. was going nowhere, and as you said, I mean, that can go a lot to the defensive line. We'll break down that position, but specifically on Demario Davis, yeah, I've been very impressed with him, and I definitely think the Jets should bring him back in 2018, even if it's just in a situational role. But I said this as soon as they signed him and cut David Harris.
We traded for the record.
Traded Calvin Pryor. I mean, first of all, the Jets won that trade because Calvin Pryor's not even on the roster, and they also run the Terrence Brooks trade, which I did criticize because Dexter McDougal's fine, but Terrence Brooks had 2 interceptions this game and was the AFC Defensive Player of the Week, and then he also, you could argue, won the Thomas Hennessy for Ronald Martin trade because Hennessy, so far, he's a long snapper, has been pretty money, and Ronald Martin was cut for the Colts. So, anyways, back to this Demario Davis thing. I said when they brought him in and they let go of David Harris that this is an upgrade, that Demario Davis statistically was a better linebacker. He was a younger linebacker. I thought he was going to bring a vocal leader. Not that David Harris wasn't a leader, but obviously he was. He was more of a quiet leader. But they're both leaders. And I just thought, you know what, I think Demario will be an upgrade for this defense. And not to pat myself on the back here, but I definitely think that he's showing that at the very least he's a competent veteran linebacker, which isn't something the Jets have had too much. And so I think they should bring him back in 2018. But Kyle, we're going to go break down position by position. We'll try to do this as fast as possible. And then we're going to get some callers. We'll come back, discuss any last things, and we'll go over some college quarterback rankings. So let's go position by position. Kyle, let's start with the quarterbacks. I know you're talking about McCown. Again, he's looked solid in all 3 games. I mean, my opinion of him has gone up tremendously than the perception, I guess, I've had of Josh McCown, and now that might be subject to turn. Give it 4 weeks or whatever when he's playing, 5 weeks when he's playing Atlanta and New England, and I might be thinking differently. But he's at least a very good game manager, and I didn't think he was even that. I was like, Josh McCown, this guy was the quarterback for the Bucs. He got the number 1 overall pick. He was the quarterback for the Browns. They got the number 1 overall pick. He was the backup quarterback for the Cleveland Browns, who were the worst team in football. It's like this guy is not going to come in and be, at least competent. He has been so far. And even against the Raiders, who are a very top defense, they got shellacked this week, I believe. But he at least had some nice plays. And as I said to, I believe it was CJ after the Buffalo Bills game, it's like when he has to win the game, he's not that good, no. But if all he's trying to do is not lose the game, he's a great quarterback. I think that's not something you hear about Josh McCown, but it's serious. Well, look, the defense was playing well. They were getting good field position. The running backs were starting to get going. Elijah McGuire was getting going. I'll give credit where credit's due. He hit Robbie Anderson on a deep ball. That's not a game manager pass, but he nailed it. The defense was getting turnovers. He was just dishing the ball around. I mean, he was doing well. But yeah, if the Jets were down, 7 with 2 minutes to go, I don't know if I trust him to get them down the field, or 7 with 30 seconds to go, or whatever it is. So obviously he's not a top-tier quarterback. Nobody thought that. But as far as his role, I think he's doing a good job. I would rather see Petty or Hackenberg even.
Nope.
No, Kyle, so you wouldn't rather see Christian Hackenberg than Josh McCown? For the tank purposes, at least, I think you'd rather see him. Because Josh McCown is playing well enough. Josh McCown is playing better than a lot of quarterbacks in this league right now. I don't have the exact numbers to back that up, but he's playing better than, at least 12 quarterbacks in this league, maybe even half of the quarterbacks in this league, just purely on the stats. Would you not agree with that?
Only
after 3 weeks. And again, this I would predict will be a very different conversation about Josh McCown in about a month. In about a month, our conversation about him will change. But at this moment in time, he's doing a lot of good. I would personally rather see Bryce Petty or Christian Hackenberg because I think Josh McCown, at least right now, is playing well enough to win the Jets 4 or 5 games this year. And that's not what you want. But we'll get into that debate.
I'll admit it. I hate Hackenberg. I do. I'm biased towards him.
Personal vendetta.
Yes, I have a personal vendetta against Christian Hackenberg. Words can't even describe, honestly. I'd rather watch Josh McCown get 5 wins than see Christian Hackenberg get 2 wins. Because that means we're developing him, and that means we're giving him a chance, which is something he doesn't deserve in the NFL.
I mean, I know you'd like to see your boyfriend Bryce Petty out there, though.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got kids.
We are ready for Petty. No, but I think right now Todd Bowles is no way in hell. Todd Bowles is coaching for his job. No way in hell he's going to bench Josh McCown. I mean, Todd Bowles right now, his stock has gone up tremendously, and after one game. Yes, for sure. I mean, it doesn't mean everybody thinks he's a great coach and that he should return. I personally don't think that he should return next year at this point. But if the Jets play like that every week, even if they finish 6-10, which would frustrate a lot of guys in this fan base, but if they play like that. Or I guess they.
Oh, our fan base means nothing.
If the defense plays like that, if the defense play, it's a Deadspin article where a lot of Jets fans couldn't even name 5 players, including what was it, Mr. Jet or whatever he was.
Mr. Jet.
The Jet Man or whatever. Couldn't name 5. He couldn't name 1.
Can I write about Fireman Ed? Can I go ahead and do that?
Can you write about Fireman Ed?
Rant about Fireman Ed. Did you hear about that?
Hold that thought in just a second. But look, I just think, and now you got me all off my train of thought. I don't even know what I was going to say. Now I'm just completely lost. Oh, Todd Bowles. Yeah, Todd Bowles coaching for his job. I mean, if he turns in a 6-10, 7-9 record, which would anger a lot of fans, he could turn to Woody Johnson or I guess Chris Johnson, and just say, look, with this roster you gave me, I got 7 wins out of them. I deserve another year. So he's going to stick with Josh McCown for the foreseeable future, unless McCown gets hurt, or if he has 2 or 3 games in a row. I think that's when you'll see Petty. Yeah, and Josh McCown has been injury prone throughout his entire career, so you could see Petty next week. You could see Petty in 4 weeks. You might never see it. Oh, I think you'll see him by the end of the year. But yeah, all right. Well, and again, to recap, Josh McCown, very solid game manager, did what he needed to do. Terrific throw to Robbie Anderson. I thought he made a great couple of throws on third down. I thought he had one specifically to Curley, fit in a tight window, just doing some good stuff. And he could have had that touchdown to ASJ, which I thought was a perfectly placed ball. Just ASJ. It was one of those things where it was good coverage. I thought that was a place, one of the only places it could be. I mean, maybe you could try to high point it, more towards the back end zone. He put it more towards the sideline. It's hard to, it's a podcast, so it's hard to give our listeners a visual. But if you saw the play, he basically threw it where ASJ had to make a one-handed catch. Which, maybe you could have put it in a position where he could have gotten 2 hands on the ball, but that at least puts it at risk of an interception. So, I don't know. Anyways, I thought McCown looked good, but we think this Tide either is going to turn badly or he's going to get hurt at some point. So, very optimistic. As far as the running backs go, Matt Forte, supposedly week to week
turf
after
toe.
He hurt his turf. He hurt his toe. Hurt his turf. Yeah, his turf toe. So, he's week to week. We'll see how many weeks he's out. I already posed this question. I think they should just put him on IR. Or at least just keep him on as a backup running back. I think you should only be seeing Elijah McGuire and Bilal Powell out there. I'm glad that McGuire is playing a lot, especially after getting no snaps against the Bills. I'm glad. Powell looked good. He had a huge run that was negated. That wasn't really a big penalty, but it was fine because it set up to Robbie Anderson. So I think Powell's stats look a lot better if he actually had that, 60-yard run, not called back. Forte actually looked solid until he got hurt. I mean, as far as he had one good run and a few other where he broke tackles. But McGuire was the guy that really impressed me. He had that one fumble that is a fumble you can't have, but he's a rookie. Kyle, what were your thoughts on Elijah? I guess so. I guess Kareem Hunt. Kyle, what were your thoughts on Elijah McGuire? I thought he definitely showed terrific speed and burst and getting around the corner a few times. So he kind of reminds me of a younger Bilal Powell, which is kind of weird. But give your thoughts on Elijah McGuire.
Yeah, I thought he looked good. I mean, in the limited role that he's playing, that's third string back. I mean, he didn't get a lot of reps. Even in the preseason, we were yelling at the coaching staff, why aren't you playing this kid more? And, he's come into these NFL games and, he's made an impact in some sort of way in almost every game so far. I mean, he's being productive at a young age, which is something you look for. Obviously still developing, but there's a lot to like about the kid. You guys know I'm a big McCagnon guy, but I'm going to tip my hat for this one. I'm not saying it's a complete done deal, but, unless he gets, injured or something, this kid's going to be productive for us. I don't know if he's going to be a number one back, but he's definitely going to be productive. Because Matt Forte's got to go at some point, just because of old age. Or even a cap number. I don't know. But he's got to go at some point. So we're going to need another running back. And right now it looks like Elijah McGuire is a young guy who has speed, who has good footwork, who has great cutting ability, and can see a hole at a veteran level. That's something you don't really find in young guys, and especially sixth-round picks. That's a very good sign for the Jets, and I understand we're 3 games in, very, very early in his career. He probably has less than 30 snaps, but right now he's looking good. You have it or you don't in the NFL. And based on what I've seen, Kyle Smith did a very good breakdown of him. He plays like a veteran. He sees the field like a veteran. He knows when to make cuts. Obviously, he needs to get used to a couple things about like getting on the sideline and holding the ball a little bit better. That comes in time. I'm not worried about that. So I think Elijah McGuire, that's a guy we can look forward to.
Yeah, and the other guy I think we should mention in this group is Lawrence Thomas, who had a terrific game. I know you talked about him a bit earlier, but I mean, you look at it. You mentioned Kyle Smith's breakdown. We'll make sure to retweet some of that. But I mean, not just that great little 15-yard flat on 3rd and 1 where he caught the ball. Especially, that's a big deal, catching the ball. And that wasn't an easy catch to make too. I mean, you have to turn your back is to the quarterback, and he's probably had limited practice reps at that position. Makes the catch. I think he weaves through at least like 2 defenders, and then truck sticks one, and then he was literally just. I would say he was. How close do you think he was to a touchdown? I mean, he just stumbled over his own feet, and he was almost. I don't know. I can't even think of the word. I'm trying to think. He did. He retweeted our tweet. I'm trying to think of the word. I had a word in my head. That happens to me all the time, where I start to say something, and then I just can't remember what I'm even trying to say. But look, I thought he looked good. As far as shut up, as far as that play went, and then I thought he was a great, terrific run blocker, especially on the goal line when the Jets cut. I think it was who they kept Hauser, right, and then they cut him. I think they chose Hauser over Firsker, I believe, originally. Yeah. When they cut him, though, I mean, it was like, okay, I guess the Jets don't have a fullback, and especially after the Week 1 game against Buffalo, where they didn't have a fullback on the goal line or a 4th and 1, it was some short yardage play. They just couldn't run the ball, on those short yardage, just hand it to the fullback, let him truck stick. But I think Lawrence Thomas did a terrific job, did this at Michigan, had some great lead blocks, and he was inches away from scoring a touchdown. So I hope he scores later in the year, and I'm pretty happy. It isn't the first time the Jets have used a defensive lineman at fullback, though. Sheldon Richardson was some of that, and in 2013. But his role was different. I mean, it was really just they handed it off to him. That was it. He got a few. I think he got 3 carries and 2 touchdowns in 2014. But anyways, I thought he did a good job. We'll finish up with the offense, then we'll get to our first caller.
Who took Sheldon's number? Was it Claude Pallone or was it Lawrence Thomas?
It was Claude Pallone, and then he got cut. So now Lawrence has 97. Anyways, we'll go to the offensive line and then we'll go to the receivers and tight ends and whatnot. Yeah. As far as the offensive line, I thought they looked good. They allowed, I believe, 2 or 3 sacks. Let's pull up a Pro Football Focus stat thing here as I'm talking. But I think overall they looked good. Run blocking, pass blocking, a pretty good blocking day out of a group that was facing Cameron Wake, Ndamukong Suh. They're facing a pretty solid Miami Dolphins front. What were your thoughts on the Jets offensive line, Kyle?
Yeah, I thought they did really good. I talked a little bit about Braden Shell earlier. Kelvin Beachum, really good job. I think he ended up with an 80.5. We were talking about it after the game. I was talking to him about PFF's grade they have on him. He was saying he wanted his grade to be higher, and just
surrendering 0 pressures across 27 pass block snaps.
Yeah, I had told him we both know that you had a great game, so don't worry about the grade. It's just the recognition right now. But, yeah, I think both tackles played really well going against the talented group that they were going against. James Carpenter, the dude's automatic, basically. I don't know how the Jets did it, but, man, I can't believe we made him that good. Because he was bad in Seattle, really bad. It was, very, very bad in Seattle. There was a reason that they just let him walk in free agency. But we've made him into one of the best guards in the game. He's definitely a top 10 guard in the game. Not a doubt about it in my mind. Center Wesley Johnson continues to perform well. I haven't really noticed any problems.
We had a few holding penalties on him and Carpenter, but besides that, Shell and you have to
happens.
Props to the tackles on the pass blocking. You definitely have to give that. I think Dakota Dozier did a terrific job stepping up for Brian Winters. James Carpenter, good as always in running and pass blocking, and as you said, Wesley Johnson. The Jets have very cheaply overhauled their offensive line, and for all the worries I had about them during the preseason, they've looked very good. The other thing that Kyle Smith noticed is that Beachum tends to line up pretty wide. Which maybe makes up for his shorter arms. He doesn't want to give up an outside pass rush. He'd rather force him inside. I don't know. Just a smart decision by the Jets offensive staff.
Well,
and then we'll go to the.
Kelvin talked about it on the show. We were talking about James Carpenter. I don't think he was joking when he said he's happy to have him by his side because, obviously the short arms is an issue for Kelvin. So going outside like that, having a guy like James... Wow, voice crack.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. It's hard to breathe right now because my nose is stuffed up, so I don't know.
Yeah, I can hear you. You sound like...
I'm like gasping
Daffy
for
Duck.
air. Yeah, I'm gasping for air as I'm talking. But,
that goes down as maybe the greatest voice crack of all time, Kyle. That was
I'm here
pretty
for
amazing.
I'm the goat at everything. But having a guy like James Carpenter next to you, that brings some confidence to your game. And that's somebody you can rely on because he's usually going to manhandle his guy, and he can help you with his or with yours because he's got his on lock. So that's a big thing. That's a big help for our left tackle.
Yeah, I definitely. I agree with you on everything you said. All right, wide receivers, tight ends. Look, Curse has been a terrific addition. We said this after week 1, but again, he has just been week 2, week 3. I know he didn't have too much of an impact on this game, but he's playing the role of a number 1 wide receiver pretty well, and you can make the argument that he's probably playing it better than Brandon Marshall did last year for the Jets. He's attracting the safety over the top. He's playing very well, I think, in an expanded role. I think he's probably happy here in New York, although a lot of people were like, well, he's going to be depressed here. He went from a playoff contender to the New York Jets. Seattle's not playing that well right now, man.
No, they have a higher pick than us right now.
Yeah, and the Jets, and he's getting first, he's their go-to wide receiver here, and he's looking terrific. He's again another addition that you have to give Mike McCagney credit for. That is probably going to be here in 2018. I thought he had another solid game.
I don't know about that.
I definitely would keep him. I think, Mac deserved a fair share amount of criticism this offseason, but if you look at the Hennessy, Brooks, Curse, who's the other one that I'm spacing on? Coney Ealy's another one. Demario Davis. A lot of these, smaller additions have really helped out this Jets team, and I'm very happy.
Paul Adams, Marcus May.
Well, yes, but I'm saying these smaller under-the-radar guys have really started to form a new core to this Jets team. But anyways, no, I bring him back when you have a Nunwa. It doesn't mean he's going to be in the same role, but I think you could definitely use a guy like Jermaine Kearse. He's only 27, I believe, so he'll be 28 next year. Still relatively young. You can play him outside. You can put him in. He's just another weapon to have. And he's fairly cheap contract. So, Kyle, I definitely think they'll bring him back. But again, I thought he had a solid game, nothing too eye-popping, but he freed up other guys.
I think it's a player option, though. So I think it's up to him.
I'll look that up as you're talking because I'll give you a little serve here in a bit. But I think Robbie Anderson, again, terrific game. He had the drop in the end zone, which is kind of frustrating. It would have been an amazing catch, but you like to see the thing that's frustrating about Robbie is that, well, there's two things. One, he's always open on those 9 routes, and the quarterback can just never hit him. That's not really on him. That's more on the quarterback. But the other thing is you'll see him getting those jump balls, and I specifically have memories of this against Seattle last year. 2 times, again, week 3. It's kind of weird to think about. But 2 times where he would go up with the ball, let's say it was a 50-yard bomb, 40-yard bomb or whatever, and it's a jump ball, and it's just so close to being an insane catch. Like he's just right there. He makes a great move on the ball, puts himself in a position to bring it down, has it in his hand, is coming down to it, and then he drops it. He just doesn't have it's like he doesn't have the hand strength that Odell Beckham Jr. has. He just doesn't have the ability to bring it down when it gets in that position. But he's always in position to make a play on the ball on deep balls, which is something you have to give him credit for. But again, you saw it. I think McCown was on, it was a 30-yard pass into the end zone. Would have been a terrific catch. He puts himself in position, and then it's in his hands. And then it doesn't come down. He just doesn't. He's not as physical. He's 6'3" and 190 pounds, so there's not too much you can expect there. But
he's not mega strong.
Yeah, but he definitely rebounded with that touchdown. I thought he made a couple other nice plays. the guy I really want to highlight here, and you'll talk about, Ardarius Stewart, made another, great catch. He definitely should be playing more. But Jeremy Curley, I thought he might be I think he was probably the best Jets receiver in this game, unless I'm just spacing. But I mean, he was McCown's go-to guy on third down, on short yardage downs. I mean, maybe it was just a few times, but I just know on a few occasions he was making tough catches in traffic, guy over the middle, and he was coming down with them. So I have to give props to Jeremy Curley. He also did some nice things in the punt returning game as well. I hit one that didn't go too well, but he had others where he's getting 10, 12 yards, not too much you can ask for. Anyways, Kyle, your thoughts on the wide receiver position?
Yeah, I think it's good. I really do. I think we have 4 guys right now that deserve to be on the roster next year, and that's what's kind of troubling. Because you think about next year, I think the Jets are going to make a strong push for Allen Robinson. That's not a doubt in my mind right now, because I don't think we have a number 1 receiver, and things could change in the draft. But as of right now, I don't see an eye-popping number 1 must-have talent like Mike Williams last year. So they're going to make a strong push for Allen Robinson because it's a big problem, and a young quarterback needs a number 1 wide receiver. That's what they need. So say we go out and get Allen Robinson, because we certainly have the money for it, and he's going to be cheaper coming off the ACL. He's not happy where he's at. It makes sense to come to New York. He's a big guy, who's got a lot of talent, who's in a very, very small, disrespected, poor market. I mean, that dude wants some fame. He's looking for some deals. I guarantee you that. He's sick of Jacksonville. I can tell you nobody in Florida likes Jacksonville. It's just a matter of fact. It's the worst big city in Florida. So we get Allen Robinson. Jermaine Kearse has a player option. Let's just say he stays. Jeremy Curley performs well all year. Robbie Anderson, a young talent we're all excited about.
Well, I don't think Jeremy Curley will return, but unless he's accepting a 5th string wide receiver role, that's just going to be our punt returner.
That's this topic. Robbie Anderson, a young player we're all excited about. Ardarius Stewart, Chad Hansen, virtual locks, and then Quincy Enunwa, who's coming back off the IR. So those are 7 guys right there. We can go 7 deep. Question is, what's the order? Obviously, I think it would be Allen Robinson, Quincy Enunwa, Jermaine Kearse, and then from there, does Jeremy Curley get cut? What happens to Robbie Anderson? Does he only run the 9 route from now on? And what happens to Ardarius Stewart and Chad Hansen? Those are valuable draft capital.
Chad Hansen hasn't even hit the field. I believe he was inactive.
Yeah, exactly. And, I know Todd Bowles is coaching for his job. I understand that. But, somebody needs to make a call, make an audible here. Somebody from management needs to say, hey, this is a talented young guy that you can develop. Win with him. Because Ardarius Stewart and, God, I just forgot his name.
Chad Hansen.
I almost said Chad Johnson.
Wow, we should put you in that Deadspin article, Kyle.
Oh, damn it. Got me. They're just being not used, which is not good. So I don't know what to do there. And I guess having too much talent is a good thing, but not knowing when to use your talent is a bad thing. So I like our wide receiving core. I like the future of it when Quincy and we sign Allen Robinson, but we need to start using these guys right, talent-wise. Because Jeremy Curley, I like him in that slot role, but is he on the roster next year? I think he could be, but I don't know if management agrees. So I don't know why we're using him.
Yeah, I completely agree. And then really quickly on the tight ends, Austin Seferian-Jenkins in his return.
All day, baby.
What were your thoughts? And by the way, Jeremy Curley had 5 receptions. He was 5 for 5 on all his targets. Had a few. I think he averaged 8 yards a catch. He played pretty well. Anyways, what were your thoughts on ASJ's performance?
Yeah, I think, like I said, he made an immediate impact in the...
Impact.
Cut your carpals. Anyway.
What'd you say?
Cut your carpals.
What does that even mean?
Look it up. ASJ made an immediate impact. He's going to go look this up. I can hear him typing already.
What was the words you said? Cut your what?
Cut your carpal.
Carpal?
Yeah. CARPAL. All the listeners who know what that means,
Yeah, I know carpal tunnel syndrome, but what do you mean? Oh, God, I'm stupid. Okay, anyways.
Yeah, fair assessment.
There you go. Okay.
You got it now?
Yep, I'm here.
All right, WebMD. Anyway, he made an immediate impact in the game as a blocker and as a receiver. Little rust. There was only that one play, like Ben brought up earlier. I thought the ball should have been lower. That's just me. I'm an armchair quarterback. That's what I do best. But
love to see you actually throw a football, though. I've seen you hold the football.
Yeah.
And like Donald Trump, you have very small hands, Kyle. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh.
Maybe they just haven't come in yet. But like that one header you have, the ball was like 3 times as big as your hand. So I'd love to see you like just. Can you throw like a 20-yard out route or something?
Yeah. You act like 20 yards is like really long.
We need to film this. A 20-yard out route is not easy, but okay.
I don't think I'm gonna throw a toe tapping sideline pass.
I'm gonna fly down to Florida. I'm gonna just apply to some random Florida college. Not gonna go. I'm just kidding. Fly to Florida, go to Vero Beach, take you out in the football field, and then we'll have somebody be the quarterback. We'll just go wide receiver corner matchups, and then we'll just switch. I think I'd win, Kyle. Not gonna lie. I think I got you.
Ben, you know damn well you're entirely too skinny for that.
I'm Robbie Anderson. We have the same build. Fight me.
And Robbie Anderson can get lifted by a young child.
Robbie Anderson just scored a 60-yard touchdown, Kyle. So what are you gonna do?
I can score a 60-yard touchdown too.
It would take you about 50 seconds, but okay. Anyways, continue.
Damn, that was. You guys think this is a skit? It's not. This is brutal right now. This is something.
No, Kyle. They all know I love you. Let's go. I don't even know what you're saying.
Oh yeah, they all know you love me. But yeah, ASJ, media impact, good player. Another Mike McCagnon pickup.
5 receptions, 6 on 6 targets, an average of 6 yards.
That's Rob Gronkowski numbers.
Yeah, I thought he had 31 yards. It was a pretty solid.
He could be the backup for the Patriots.
Yeah, I mean, but think about it. He had 5 receptions, which for a Jets tight end is a lot. Like the Jets have not had a tight end that's put up 5 receptions.
I think I saw the stat from the Oakland game. It was Jets tight ends receptions on the season. It was 8, and then all of last year was 3.
That's what happens when you have Kellen Davis, Brandon Bostic, Eric Tomlinson.
Hey, Brandon
Bostic towards the end of the year. But anyways, let's go ahead and bring on our first caller of the night. We're gonna go Tyler then Ryan, just based on how they called in. Then we'll do the defense. We'll do our. We'll talk about the tank versus not tanking, and then we'll do our college quarterback rankings. So first caller of the night is up. It's our guy Tyler. Tyler, how you doing, man?
How you doing, Ben? How you doing, Kyle?
Wow.
We're doing good. I got to be honest. Tyler was here maybe 15 minutes before we started the show.
He was here before you.
No, I was here before Tyler. Then he got here, and then I left. But anyways, thank you, Tyler, for calling in. Very loyal caller we have here. Tyler, really quickly, what were your first thoughts on the Jets Dolphins game?
It was 0-0 at first half, and I kind of I was like, okay, well, we still got a chance. I was like, okay. And then, second half, just how many scores did Josh McCown have? 1 or 2? Is that right?
Yeah, sounds right.
Yeah.
And then I was like, okay, well, I liked what Darryl Roberts did. I certainly liked what Robbie Anderson did. That 59-yard touchdown.
Nice.
And, yeah, there you go. Who else? Jamal Adams.
Oh, yeah.
Terrence Brooks.
Yeah, you talked about the 2 safeties there, and I'm going to talk about all 3 because Todd Bowles built a great scheme this week. I'll give him credit. He did this in his 2015 season when we beat the Dolphins twice. He did the exact same thing. He went with a 3-safety set, and he blitzed the slot corner. I want to say it ended up being 65% of the time. It was some sort of outrageous number, but it worked. And for some reason, the Dolphins still cannot stop it. I know they had a different coach in 2015. I want to say Joe Philbin. I think it was Joe Philbin in 2015. But it worked again, and Todd Bowles, he knows what he's doing against the Dolphins. That 3 safety look, Jamal Adams, just phenomenal. I loved him coming out of the draft. Thought there was no way we can get him. He was my number 2 overall prospect, best safety in a very long time. That kid is something special. That's going to be our Odell Beckham Jr. That kid is going to start making headlines. Because you're starting to see it. A couple guys from NFL Network, they're starting to really talk about him, what he can do on the field. That kid has swagger. He will hit you hard. He will lock you down. He will bring you down. He's one of the best safeties in the game already, and he's 3 games into his career. I would not be shocked if he was a Pro Bowler. And I'm like one of the most negative fans, probably, because I'm honest. Jamal Adams is a Pro Bowl level talent in his rookie year. Can you imagine what he's going to be in his 3rd or 4th? I don't think people even realize the spectrum this is on. This is
Kyle, wait, before you say it, early prediction: does Jamal Adams make a Pro Bowl this year?
Yes.
Also, may I add, your GIF game is approved.
Yeah.
I saw your little tweet to promote us and
Yeah.
your Jamal Adams dancing gift. I got to be honest, that GIF that was or
I
GIF,
love it.
I guess I don't know. Looks terrific. Anyways, sorry, but yeah, he's playing at a terrific level.
Yeah.
And then the other thing, I have a question for. I'll start with you, Kyle. Then Tyler, we can get your take. Marcus May, and I can't decide if the fact that I didn't hear his name called once. I don't believe he had a tackle. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Well, yeah, because it's that means they're not throwing to the side he's covering. Because he is the free safety, so he's a lot more in coverage. So that means they're not throwing to him as much. He's a lockdown free safety. It's the same with Morris Claiborne. We haven't heard his name pretty much all year. Maybe he's locking him down. So I guess the more coverage guys you want to hear less of, and then the guys like Jamal Adams you want to hear more of. Marcus, you're not hearing as much. I probably hope he can get a few tackles, but the one thing I'll say about that is pretty much no runs were getting into the 3rd level for Marcus to even have a chance. Yeah. I mean, most runs were stopped at the line or by the linebackers, and even any passes were very short. But I think not hearing Marcus May's name was probably a good thing. I'd have to look at the tape a little bit more in depth.
I'm pulling up what PFF sent us. I believe they had a little snippet about the.
We're elitist now because we get a PFF.
Yeah, you
send
can't
it to Rich.
Us.
Look at all the other guys in this email chain. We got Rich Samini.
I did not realize we have their emails. We need to capitalize on that.
Ooh. I guess so. Now.
Yeah, Marcus May off initial.
Eric Allen is on this.
No. Oh no. Oh,
EA, let's go. Well, I was about to shout out his email. All right, we're about to get Eric Allen up in this to talk about Alex Chimo and the travesty that her firing was.
If he comes on, I will grill him about that.
No, you won't. Anyways.
Yeah, well, on God, I will do it. All right. Anyway, off initial film review.
Who are some of these people?
I don't know. They're all media members though. If Rich Samini's in the same email chain we are, we're doing something good, Ben. We're swinging hard right now.
Is Manish Mehta in this? No, he's not. Wow, Manish didn't get that invite.
Sense.
There's a lot more. Yeah, pretty much every other writer in this, but Manish did not get that memo. Anyway, sorry. Continue with your point. We get off topic quite a bit.
Yeah. Based off its initial film review, and John does a great job. John Gatto from Pro Football Focus. I'm sure you guys have seen him on Twitter by now. This was an hour after the game, the initial film review. Marcus May had a 75.3 grade, and basically for Pro Football Focus, if you're over an 83, that's an elite level game for you. That's a good game. And as a rookie, I really like that from Marcus May. He spent 97% of his snaps at safety. He didn't allow a single deep wide receiver to, thrive throughout the game. And he wasn't targeted once across 46 snaps. Say what you want about Jay Cutler. The guy's got a rocket arm, and he's good at what he does, for the most part.
Another voice crack there.
Having a bad day.
We're going for at least 4 today, Kyle. We'll see if we can hit that.
Over and under, yeah. But that's good. 46 covered snaps, and he didn't allow a reception, and he wasn't targeted. That's what you look for in a free safety. The less you hear from your free safety, the better. I don't care if he doesn't get tackles. because they're not getting to him. I care if he locks people down because he is doing well in coverage. Jamal Adams takes away one half of the field. Morris Claiborne takes away another half of the field. And the way Darryl Roberts and Justin Burris and guys like that played last game, there really wasn't a place to throw. So you would think Marcus may be the weak link as a rookie. But no, he did a phenomenal job and he locked down his guys. So these rookie safeties so far, they're really looking good. And, not to gloat or anything, but that's my Florida guy. Just throwing that out there.
All right, yeah, I think that. Tyler, let's get you more of your thoughts on this game. What is your reaction to Josh McCown and how he's played this season?
So, he played a good game. I don't expect him to be great though. But he just had a good game.
All right. Yeah, I happen to agree with you, Tyler. I think he's done a good job for what the Jets asked of him. Similar question here, Tyler. What were your thoughts on the Jets' defensive line in this game? Statistically, not too much was happening. I don't, you didn't hear much. I don't think the Jets had a sack in this game from a defensive lineman. But what were your thoughts on them, specifically in the running game? It seemed like Jay couldn't get anything going all game.
Definitely. Players like Leonard Williams had a good game. Dylan Donahue, he played some of it, right?
Yeah, no, he did. He definitely got in a few times on third down,
He got a sack.
which was nice. Yeah, was it a full sack or I think it was a half sack?
I think it was a half a sack.
Yeah.
It's the sauce that counts, though, at the end of the day.
And before I go, I want to share the record of the Jets.
Ooh.
All right.
For the season?
Before we get all offended, I just want to say this. I really don't give a damn about how they win or lose, okay?
Okay.
And I say the Jets would win at least 3 to 5 games.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's the area we all kind of predicted to start the year. I think the Miami win, it was shocking for me. I thought we would be 0-3 going into the Jacksonville game. That just means we're one game further from the number 1 pick. So, who knows?
All right, well, Tyler, it was great to hear from you. Really quickly, shout out your Twitter so our listeners can give you a follow.
Of course. You can follow me on Twitter at TJTanky96. And my Instagram has a bad name, but I'll just shout it out. It's _tight, _bitch_.
Uh-oh. We're going to have to put the damn it split warning on now.
Yep.
Thanks, Tyler.
Well, Tyler, it was nice to hear from you, man. All right, that was Tyler. All right.
I'm shook that word was just said.
I got to be honest, I was tweeting before our show. That wasn't even his Twitter handle. Wait, what? Am I missing something here?
I think you are. Just type in TJ. It should be the first thing that pops up.
TJ.
It's like TJ Tank.
Yeah. Why did he... All right, I don't know.
He shouted out his Instagram at the end.
That's what it was. Okay, never mind.
I
was looking at his Twitter. I was like, why is he shouting out what? All right. Well, anyways, let's just keep moving. I guess we'll go to. All right. Let's have a quick to tank versus not to tank discussion. Then we're gonna go to Ryan. All right. Well, Kyle, I'll start it off here. I'll kick it off with my beliefs on this. Look, it's hard as a Jets fan.
Wait. Please clarify first that you're playing devil's advocate.
No, I'm going to give my actual belief. Then I'll let you talk, and then for the sake of argument, I'll pose some questions to you that just so we get both sides of the argument. But no, my actual belief is it's hard as a Jets fan to cheer against your team. You don't want to think about, okay, we have to wait another year before I can actually cheer for the team. It's just difficult. You want to go out there and, I have to be honest, I was kind of in the, okay, the Dolphins can win this game. But when Robbie Anderson is catching that deep ball, I'm getting as hyped up even as much as I was in 2015. And then I had to catch myself. I was like, whoa, wait, we're 1-2, or at that point we were 0-2. It's hard for me to cheer against a team I like, and I'm never going to cheer against them. That's just I'm just gonna, I'm gonna cheer for them. If we get to December, November, or probably towards December, and we're 2-13 maybe, 2-12, and there's another team that's 2-12. I'm going to cheer for the Jets probably to lose. I'll probably cheer for the Jets to lose, but it won't affect the team. But right now I'm going to cheer for them to win, no matter what. But I'm not going to be upset if they lose. That's the one thing I'll say is, like, if they lose, it's like, all right, it moves us closer to a draft spot. But if they're winning, I'm going to be happy. Of course, I don't want them to end up in that 5 to 6 win ballpark. I think that's just, you're either going to have to trade up or find your own version of your Derek Carr, your Russell Wilson, your Tom Brady, which happens, but it's definitely harder. The draft is a crapshoot, and every round you go, your chances of landing a stud goes down. So you want the highest percentage chance to get your stud. And let's be honest, if the Jets are picking 6th or 7th again, they're going to get a shot at least one of the top 4 quarterbacks, probably one of the top 3. So you probably would miss out on Darnold and Rosen, but then you'd have your pick between Allen and Jackson, which, who knows, could work out. Maybe everything works out for the Jets the way they want. Who knows? You can't even make, everything happens for a reason. So maybe the Jets win 6 games for a reason. Whatever.
You're saying God wants us to lose?
Well, we can get religious. No, I'm kidding. But look, I think obviously God is not a Jets fan if you look at anything of the past 50 years. But look,
hey,
I think
God says that it's always darkest before the dawn. So maybe
was that God or was that The Dark Knight Rises? I think that was Harvey Dent. I think that was probably The Dark Knight, Harvey Dent, not Jesus. But same thing.
They're the same thing.
Anyways.
We just offended a lot of people.
Yeah. Oh boy. Anyways, let's just keep moving. I think. Look, as I said at the top of the show, got to cheer for the young guys to play well. I'm going to be cheering for Jamal Adams and Marcus May to make plays. Justin Burris, Darryl Roberts, Darren Lee, Julian Stanford, Jordan Jenkins, Dylan Donahue, Josh Moore. I mean, you can go down the line. This is a very young team. Sounds like you're just
creating random players on 2K. Honestly.
To some of those Jets fans in that video, it probably was. But yeah, all these young guys on this team, I'm going to cheer for them to play well. I hope they win. Am I going to be upset if the Jets go 14-2? No, what? But the chances that that's going to happen are very slim. But again, I'll say this: if they play like they did this Sunday, they can beat a lot of teams.
They can beat a lot of teams.
But the chances that happens is, I'm not going to get my hopes up for anything. So I think I'll just say this: I'll cheer for them to win. Throughout the entire season, even if we're in December, I'm going to cheer for these young guys to play well, but I expect losses. And I know in the back of my head that losing games is probably better. I'm sick of the mediocrity that this team has suffered since really the Rex Ryan years, and then before that for a long time. I mean, from 2011 to now, they've been mediocre every single year. 2015 was an outlier. But every year has not been fun to watch Jets football by the time you hit October, November. They're already out of it. They're already fighting for their, live. So I'm sick of that. Let's go get our top quarterback is what's in the back of my mind is, okay, maybe this is the year they lose a few games. Next year, and the other thing people have to remember is you're not just getting your top quarterback if you get the number 1 overall pick. Your first choice at the quarterback, I may add.
Second
round, third round, fourth. You're getting the best player of each round. Not all, probably not, but you're at least getting a shot at the best player of each round. You're getting first pick in every round. That is a valuable pick as well. The Jets can trade down, acquire other picks. There's a lot you can do with the top pick. I'm not saying they should trade the top pick, but when first pick in the second round, you could trade down out of that, get a few picks, the second, third, a second next year, whatever. You could start, negotiating some deals here. I think, that would be a good move. But as far as it pertains to today, I think young players have to play well because I got to be honest, it's easier if the Jets have to fill one position, which is very slim. They'd probably have to fill a few. But if the Jets have a pretty solid team with a few holes in it, being quarterback, maybe they need another running back, a linebacker, whatever, it's easier to do that than to have the number one overall pick and have an entire team you have to rebuild. So I don't want either of those scenarios. So, as far as trading up goes, that's also tough. And Kyle, I know I'm rambling here, so you can jump in when you feel like it. But as far as trading up goes, that's pretty tough. So it's kind of, are we going to sacrifice our happiness almost this year for long-term success in the NFL? So I think,
yes.
I wish there was a way that the Jets could have their young guys play well, amazing. You look at Jamal Adams, but then still get that top pick. But it's like that doesn't go hand in hand. If you have the top pick, you have a bad team. You have a team that's offensive line isn't playing well, that receivers aren't separating, that corners are getting beat, not getting any pressure, defensive line's over. I mean, to get to the point, you have to be the worst team in the National Football League. I mean, I get the one outlier there is the Indianapolis Colts with that year where they started Curtis Painter and went 2-14, and then they brought Luck, and I think they went to the playoffs that year. So
yeah, Fred, it's to be seen whether there's a Luck in this draft. I think Darnold is one of those guys that could be. There are some flaws.
He reminds me a lot of Luck, like in just the way he throws the ball and just plays.
Yeah.
Like he's very similar as far as like just his style of play, just kind of bigger guy, got that pocket passer, but has underrated mobility, arm strength, accuracy. But then he struggles a bit at times. No. I'm just saying purely from a watching the game. If you're just to put Andrew Luck next to Sam Darnold, let's just say they're highlights, just so they're both playing well. If you just watch, they look very similar. The problem that happened with Darnold and Luck,
Josh Allen's more similar.
No. Kyle, I mean, I'm not saying, like, look at their builds and everything, just the way they look when they play. Because Josh Allen is thinner. Josh Allen's much thinner.
No, he's a big kid.
He's taller, but anyways, you look at Luck, you look at Darnold. It's besides the point. Even just the way they although they don't look alike, just the way they present. It just there's a lot of similarities there. But the problem is and Luck had issues in college too, not as many. The problem with Darnold, at least right now, is it seems like he has a higher rate of interceptions than you'd like.
Yes. Yeah. And that's the problem with his mechanics. He's forcing what I've seen right now. He's trying to force throws because the way he drops and the way he holds the ball, it limits its arm strength. He needs to work on that. So he's trying to force these balls into tight windows, and they usually end up behind wide receivers or not making the window. Now, he is accurate enough when he's got a clean pocket, but in those mechanics, when they break down because there's pressure in his face and he's trying to make a play, kind of like Luck, and this is where I think Josh Allen is more like Luck than Sam Darnold is. Sam Darnold's mechanics aren't going to hold up. Josh Allen's are. But Josh Allen in the pocket compared to Sam Darnold isn't as good. He's better on the run. He's better at like scrambling and making plays. Because I don't know why. He's just better under pressure. It's kind of weird. So that's fixable. I think it's definitely fixable. And you would hope that he's not on the run a lot, but it's also the NFL. So you have to expect that he's on the run a lot. And that's something I'm going to hold against Sam Darnold for the whole draft process until he fixes it. He needs to fix it before, the combine or whatever and whatever event he's working on. Because that's going to be something NFL scouts are going to look at. Me being the couch scout that I am, I don't have access to a lot of things. They're going to see him work out. They're going to see him in the facility. They're going to see him with NFL talent. And they're going to realize that. That's something that he needs to fix, hopefully before this year ends. No better time to do it than in a game. Because right now, they're a top 10 team. They're competing for a national championship. And if he wants to bring his team there, and he wants to solidify the Heisman, and he wants to be the number one pick, he wants to be the face of the franchise, he's got to get that down. Because right now, he doesn't have it.
Yeah, we didn't get your original thoughts though, Kyle, on because you're a pro tank guy. So does this mean you're cheering against the Jets?
I'm not cheering against the Jets. I'm expecting them to lose. I will root for young players. I will root for the development
so
of
if the
players.
Jets score a touchdown, are you celebrating?
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think. I mean, that's all you can really ask for because, I mean...
If Josh McCown scrambles for a game-winning touchdown, I'm not going to be happy.
All right, that makes sense. Now, I'll pose this question to you. If the Jets start Bryce Petty, or let's say Josh McCown gets hurt, Bryce Petty next week, he tears it up against Jaguars, Cleveland, plays well.
Go for it.
Now the Jets are 3-2. Bryce Petty's playing. Just imagine how he's playing against the Giants. 3-2. I believe we're heading into the game against the Patriots. Are you starting? And let's even to play even more devil's advocate. Bryce Petty beats the Patriots. Now the Jets are 4-2. Just be arguably the best team in the NFL. Probably not, but one of the hottest teams in the NFL. 4-2. Are you now abandoning the tank ship and just saying this is a young team full of a lot of talent? They're very exciting. Because in that scenario, that means it's the opposite of what I said earlier. That means, the offensive line is playing well. The secondary is playing well. The young linebackers are looking good.
Yeah.
The defensive line is not overrated. The running backs, that means this team is playing above its expectations. You're 4-2. Bryce Petty's your quarterback. You're beating guys. Are you just abandoning the draft, screw the top quarterbacks?
I'll say if Bryce Petty goes out and he beats the Jaguars and he beats the Patriots, and I'm going to need to see at least 6 wins to say that. Like, I'm going to need a 6-2 record, which obviously we won't see till week 8, and I think it's highly unlikely. But I'm going to have to see that. And if that happens, go for it. Because then you're 4 games over 500. You have a young quarterback who's performing well with young talent around him, and the rest of the team's clearly behind him because they're playing well for him, playing well with him. So go for it. There's absolutely no reason to tank for a quarterback. Now, am I expecting that? No. And it's not even... I don't want the Jets to lose. I'm just not expecting them to win. Like, we don't have the talent to go 6-2, unfortunately, because that's how the roster's been set up. Say what you want about Brandon Marshall, Eric Decker, and Darrelle Revis. Well, not Darrelle Revis, but David Harris and Nick Mangold. Say what you want about them sitting on the bench or not performing well. Those guys would be our starters, not a doubt in my mind. They would definitely be our starters because they're the better players. Now, are they producing right now where they're at? No. There are multiple reasons behind that. So, I can make up 100 reasons for the Giants because I hate the Giants as it is. And it's the best thing in the world that they're 0-3 right now and that Eli Manning's about to get benched for Geno Smith. If Eli Manning gets benched for Geno Smith, by the way, he's not a Hall of Famer. Just letting you know.
Kyle, he's going in the Hall of Fame. Like, you can't.
He shouldn't, but he will.
Yeah. I will debate you that he should, purely based on those 2 playoff runs. That is how much. Because, Kyle, why do you play the game? To quote Herm Edwards, you play to win the game. He won the biggest game twice. Kyle, you can't debate it. The Giants won the only thing that matters really in the NFL. You can argue about personal accolades and whatever. The only thing that NFL teams strive to do every year, or at least hopefully, maybe not the Jets this year, is to win a Super Bowl. All right, and he did that twice. I know he had terrific defenses, but you cannot deny some of the clutch plays he made. And I'm not just talking. And the Tyree play was terrific, and he should have thrown an interception early on that drive. But other plays, the play to Burris, who I know is wide open, but at least had the wherewithal to get it. A lot of other throws that are not as heralded in both those games against the Patriots, who both times were the top team in the NFL. So, and both times the Giants were, I believe, 6 seed wild cards. So no, he's going in the Hall of Fame, and I think he should. I don't think he is an elite quarterback right now, but he had those 2 playoff runs, and then he also had different seasons where he didn't win the Super Bowl that he played very well. Last year he played very well as well. So I agree. I do not. Or I agree with myself. I don't know. Anyways, let's go ahead and get to Ryan. We'll talk a bit about this game. All right, Ryan, you've been on hold for a bit. Sorry for the wait. Kyle and I just had to...
That's fault.
Yeah, I guess so. It's always my fault. Ryan, how you doing, man?
I'm good, guys. How are you?
We're good. We're happy after a Jets win. We don't know when this will happen again. It could be next week, but it might be for
It might be next year. We don't know.
It could be next year. That is a very good point, Kyle. Anyways, Ryan. All right, initial thoughts, Jets, Dolphins. What did you think?
I thought we just dominated them on all 3 aspects of the game. We really just obliterated them.
We nuked them. Pulled a Trump.
Basically, I mean, Cutler was rattled all game. We stopped Ajayi. Our special teams, we figured out the fake punt. And I don't know, Dolphins never really looked like they were even in the game, there was no point in that game where I felt the Jets were going to lose that game.
Yeah. Cutler needed a nicotine patch in that game. I mean, that dude he was shook to his core. He needed a smoke break. He was not ready for the Jets. I don't think anybody on the Dolphins were ready. And I think you brought up special teams. I think that was really under the radar this week. Lachlan Edwards. Shout out to Lachlan Edwards. Ben and I kind of crucified him throughout the preseason, and we crucified Mike McCagnon for not bringing in any competition for a guy who was 31st out of 38th in the NFL, for qualified punters last year.
Wait, there were 38 punters last year? How many punters got hurt last year? Or at least benched?
A lot of guys get cut, and then a couple kickers qualified somehow.
That makes 38 punters. Where did the other 6 come from? All right, anyway, sorry. Just continue.
There are a lot of Matt Praters in the world, Ben. So.
Yeah, but those are kickers. I guess a punter gets hurt or whatever. Anyways, sorry. Continue.
But yeah, Lachlan Edwards did a phenomenal job. Our coverage is doing really well, and I feel comfortable with our returner. And I think that was a huge difference. Say what you want about the Oakland game. Obviously, it got out of hand. That Khalif Raymond fumble, I mean, Jets were doing pretty good, and that, killed us. And that we had 2 nice drives before that, I believe, and that, we stopped them. The defense had stopped Oakland, and we made them punt it. We made Derek Carr and that phenomenal offense go 3 and out, and then he just, gave it right back to him. So that's a big difference in the game. That's a big difference in any NFL game.
Yeah, I
podcast
think,
guys, you're supposed to rebuttal.
Yeah, well, I thought Ryan was going to talk, so I was intentionally biting my tongue. But look, I think Locke Edwards and our thing for Turn on the Jets, which I was trying to find. I tried to point out guys who were. Here we go. I'll read both of ours, I guess. I was trying to point out guys who were unheralded, and Locke Edwards was definitely one of those guys. Kyle, we'll read yours first, and then we'll get to. Kyle said. I was going to do a Kyle Fahey impression. Blake, guys, this has a point, don't worry. I was going to do a Kyle Fahey impression, but Kyle said on Turn on the Jets, he said, first off, great team showing. The defense really clicked together this week. All 3 levels did their job at a great to elite level. The offense did enough not to hurt us. Josh McCown had a solid game manager performance. What I'm most happy with, that was our young players showing development. Leonard, Jamal, May, and Anderson are all playing at a high level. You spelled... Never mind, you spelled it right. We're playing at a high level and look to be the new foundation for when we find our QB. Darren Lee was a guy who took a nice step this week, whatever Bowles and Rodgers did. Let's keep it that way. Darrell Roberts and Justin Burst both played well while going against a very good Miami wide receiver core. Will most likely be the best game of the year for the Jets, but let's hope the young guys continue to impress. So, yeah, I agree with everything you said there. All those guys are playing well, and it goes back to the tank argument is you have to cheer for these guys throughout the year to play well. It's going to become a lot about cheering for young guys. I won't read the entire thing of mine, but I'll read the thing about.
Yeah, Ben tends to write 500-page essays for.
The players I pointed out were Lawrence Thomas, Lack Edwards, Jeremy Curley, Demario Davis, Coney Ealy, Jermaine Kearse, and Terrence Brooks. But on Lack Edwards, I mean, it's he's improved so much since last year.
Yeah.
And we're only through 3 games, and yeah, I think he did have a shank against the Bills. So he's still sometimes erratic, but you look at, I'll get his stats up as we're just talking, but that's a huge thing. Field position played a big role in this game.
Yeah.
Ryan, what are your thoughts on just Lack Edwards and the special teams overall? Because the other guy you have to keep in mind, Chandler Catanzaro, who missed his first kick of the year, I believe. I think it was blocked or just taken by the wind. He's also had a good year despite that one missed kick. What have been your thoughts on the special teams this year?
Yeah, I'm definitely impressed by them. The last 2 years they've really killed us. This year they seem to be, just everything's better. Now that we have Curley back there, we feel safe now. We can actually look at the TV because we know that Curley at least will catch the ball. Even if he fair catches it, we know someone will actually catch it. Unlike the guys, Raymond and these other guys we had in preseason, where every time you looked at the TV, they'd be fumbling the ball. Edwards, I've always liked Edwards. He was highly erratic his rookie year, where one time he'd punt the ball like 55 yards, and then next thing he'd shank it. This year, he's really being consistent and taking his game to the next level, which is nice to see. I'm pretty confident now, when he's punting it. And the kicker, I still don't know how to say his name, Catanzaro. I don't even know if that's right.
Catanzaro.
Yeah.
Okay, say cat like the animal,
cat.
Zorro like the movie, just cat and Zorro, but then just remove the.
There's a movie called Zorro.
Yeah. You never heard of the dude with the sword? Writes the Z on his victims. You never heard of that, Kyle?
No,
Ryan, do you get this
from Oregon?
No, Zorro. Hold on, I'm right on this. Not spelled the same, but Zorro. Am I wrong here? Oh, maybe I'm wrong.
Zohan.
No, it's Zorro. Wait, hold on. Okay, you guys talk.
Yeah,
I'm gonna figure out why I'm. It is Zorro, but it's not popping up.
Yeah.
Keep talking. There it is. Yeah. Oh, it's 2 R's. My bad. It's 2 R's. But still, yeah, he wears a little mask.
Don't they call him the Catman anyway?
Okay, I don't even know. Yeah, just the Catman. There you go. Just run with it, Ryan.
No, I'm not giving a thumbs up to that one.
No, I'm not calling him that. I just seen it on Twitter when he kicked the field goal. The Jets' actual Twitter tweeted something out like that. But I mean, either way, it doesn't make a difference. Coming from Arizona, he's always had a really strong leg. It's just his problem was accuracy, and so far with us, other than I think he knuckled it on this past Sunday. I mean, I thought it was tipped at first, but when they showed it again, it looked like he just shanked it kind of. But I mean, other than that, he's been pretty good. Definitely the first 2 weeks against Oakland and the Bills made some pretty clutch kicks. I'm not gonna lie. So he's been a pleasant surprise, and hopefully he continues to make his kicks.
Well, I think he's made his case.
I mean, you can see why Bowles kept him over Martin, especially. I mean, I know it sounded silly at first, but when he kicks the ball off, for a touchback every single time, unlike Nick Folk the last 2 years. So now looking back at it, it doesn't look that silly. I
mean, that's kind of the opposite of every Jets thing ever. So I don't know how to respond to that. Usually it's oh, you look back at that. Why did we do that? But now this year it's wow, we actually made solid trades, and actually that guy deserved to make the roster, and we were all kind of wrong on that one.
Yeah, there's been a few surprises this year. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, Ryan, who are some of your more, surprise players this season that have really stepped up? And obviously you can point out Jermaine Kearse, but besides Kearse, another guy that has really stepped up. Kyle and I were talking about Demario Davis earlier. Do you have another guy that you just really noticed that you weren't expecting to perform at the beginning of the year?
I'll go a little bit more under the radar. I'll say Josh Martin. I know he got hurt last game, but going into last offseason and even into training camp, I don't think anyone had Josh Martin as a starter. And throughout the preseason, he was, he really flashed and he really earned that starting role. And then week 1 in Buffalo, I think he had 3 tackles for a loss. It kind of sucks that he got hurt. Hopefully it's not too serious, but, Martin's definitely impressed me.
Yeah, that's an interesting one.
Yeah, Kyle. And the X-rays on Martin came back negative, so we should have him back. He might not play this next week, but he should be back at least by the Cleveland Browns. So that's great that's not a long-term injury. My guy would probably go with, out of the list I wrote here for trying on the Jets, I'll probably go with Coney Ealy. I think has really surprised me. I know he was talented in Carolina, but he has really looked good. Just creating constant pressure on the edge. He's a much better player than Mahi Wilkerson has been these past years. He has actually made an impact on the field. And Mahi Wilkerson is going to be off the team. Mahi Wilkerson will be off the team by the end of the year. His shoulder injury now is it's supposedly might be a year-long type of thing where he's just lingering and another excuse. It's nope, Mahi Wilkerson clearly either lost a step, which doesn't make much sense, or he's not trying as much. He got his payday and he's not trying as much. And I'll have to admit, I was happy when they re-signed him. I thought that was that's a homegrown guy. That's a leader in the locker room. He's dominant. Let's bring him back. And he's not proved me right. I think obviously the better move would have been to trade him and get Damon Harrison back. But it's kind of a shame because the Jets a few years ago you would have looked at us with Leonard Williams, Damon Harrison, Sheldon Richardson, Mahi Wilkerson playing at elite levels, and now they're going to be in 2018 without Damon Harrison, Sheldon Richardson, Mahi Wilkerson, but Coney Ely is playing terrific football all three of his games. Kyle, do you have a guy you'd like to shout out? Preferably a guy we haven't talked about.
I probably Dakota Dozier. I think he did a really good job stepping in for Brian Winters. I honestly wouldn't be shocked if Brian Winters sat out for the next couple of weeks and Dakota Dozier continued to play. I wouldn't be shocked if the Jets traded Brian Winters. I just
really. What type of deal do you think they could get for Brian Winters?
If you throw in a late round pick, say Brian Winters and a 7th, I think you can get a 3rd. I think you really could.
Yeah, I think if you did Brian Winters and a 5th, you could probably get a 2nd.
Yeah, if Dakota.
But you'd have to go to the right team, a team that really struggles, and maybe it's a team that's trying to get into the playoffs.
Seattle.
Yeah,
right now,
Seattle might be a good one. I think the starting guards right now, they have Luke Jokel, who's playing guard right now. They have Mark Lewinsky. They now have
Oday Obushi starting at guard.
Oh yeah, Oday Obushi's playing guard for them. They have Pokic, but he's a right tackle.
Yeah, they're not good. They're not good.
Font. Why do I know so many Seattle offensive linemen? It's my question.
Oh, I thought you Googled that for sure.
No, that was off the top of my head. That was really it's Pacific Northwest, I guess. It's not like anybody's wearing any George Font jersey. Is that even how you pronounce his name? It's Faint Font, F-A-N-T. Anyways, too much Madden, I guess. Ryan, let's keep it moving. So, Ryan, remind me again, are you in favor of the Jets losing games this season? Or are you more towards Kyle? I mean, it's not even like I'm, all out Jets are going to win the Super Bowl this year, but I'm at least more I hope they win a few games. But nobody wants to be caught in that 3 to 4, 5 win ballpark. You really just have to cheer for the young guys to play right, but play well. But Ryan, what are your thoughts on the Jets' long-term goals after this season? How would you, in the perfect world, how would this season play out for you? Besides obviously winning a Super Bowl.
Yeah, probably the most realistic scenario is we don't win that many games, but we do see a bunch of young guys start to play well, and I think we've seen that so far with guys like Jamal Adams, Marcus May, even Elijah McGuire, guys like that, we just drafted, are really going to make an impact going forward. I'm not really a tank guy per se. Whenever we go into a game, I'm rooting for the win. But at the end of the day, especially this year, if we lose, I'm not upset as I am in previous years because I know that I'm looking forward to the long term. Because I know that this team is not going to win a Super Bowl. It's just unrealistic to think so. But I mean, just going into every Sunday, I'm looking for the young guys to play well and get better as a team. But I do hope that we do end up with a top 5 pick, just because I'm sick of having mediocre to above average teams get stuck in that 6 to 8 win column. That seems to be where we've been stuck forever. We really need a franchise quarterback if we want a Super Bowl or playoffs even in the near future. And if we do, if the young guys exceed, if they play like they did against the Dolphins all year, or all year round, or a couple games, the Jets will win a few games this year. If they play like that, they could win 6 to 8. I don't think they will, but if they do play like that, they definitely will win a few games. So whatever we have to do, we have to get a quarterback in this draft. So if we have to trade up, then trade up like the Eagles did. I don't care.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think the one thing that the Jets have to make sure they do is play the young guys. Because it's one thing if you win 6 games with Josh McCown starting. It's another thing if you're winning 6 games with Christian Hackenberg or Bryce Petty starting. Because that's at least okay, you have to see some sort of promise there. It's I was very in favor of start Christian Hackenberg and towards the end of Bryce Petty. It's if they play well, just win games, you have your quarterback of the future. If they play bad, you need to go draft a quarterback. Josh McCown is just going to get you in the middle. Josh McCown's not getting you to the playoffs. Bryce Petty theoretically could, not that he will, but you at least don't know really his ceiling. I want to ask you a bit about the lack of playing time. Some of these young guys, specifically Chad Hansen, Ardarius Stewart. Reportedly, Coach Bowles said they've been getting a lot more reps in practice this week, and they should play more. That just popped up on my Twitter. What are you thinking about the lack of reps they're getting? Justin Burris was also benched this week. I mean, he played, but he still was not the starter. Darrell Roberts was. You can look at across just different positions. You'll see that the Jets are rotating in some more veterans. Obviously, Josh McCown. Obviously, some of their wide receivers. Up until a point, Elijah McGuire wasn't playing that well. So what are your thoughts on some of these young guys not playing?
I'll start off with the Burris getting benched. I did like that. I don't hate Burris or anything like that, but the way he played against Oakland, he was awful and he got schooled. I thought that was kind of ballsy by Todd Bowles to bench him after one game, and it worked out. Darrell Roberts played phenomenal on Sunday, so going forward, I think whoever plays the best should be starting. And for the offense, I mean, say what you want, Jeremy Curley probably won't be here next year, but right now he's one of the most consistent, dependable guys. On third downs, you see Josh McCown looking at him. Ardarius Stewart, I think, definitely should be in there a lot more. I mean, that was a sick catch, the one-handed catch. I think he definitely earned it. So, going forward, I know Peak just went on IR. I don't know how Peak was getting reps over Hansen and Stewart. That, to me, was silly. But, now he's on IR. I mean, we're only 3 weeks into the season. We still have a long way to go, so I'm not really worried. But, going forward, Stewart and Hansen should definitely get, a lot more reps. And, starting off with McGuire, this Forte thing could be a blessing in disguise. I don't hate Forte either, but, he's not going to be here next year, and, he's an older running back. And as you guys know, he doesn't have much left in the tank. So going forward, it really should just be Powell and McGuire.
Yeah, Kyle, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I agree. I think, playing young guys in general is a good thing, and, I like what they have, so I'm all for it.
All right, well, Ryan, let's move on to this Sunday against the Jaguars. What are your expectations for this Sunday as far as win, loss, who's playing well, what type of game? And what team are we going to see on Sunday? Are we going to see the team against Miami or the team against the Raiders?
I don't think we play that bad against the Raiders, honestly, so if we get somewhere in the middle, I think it'll be a tough game. I'm actually going to the game Sunday, so I hope it is a good game.
Ryan,
I hope the Jets.
Did you use our ticket?
Yeah, I already asked.
No, I got the tickets from my aunt's job, so no, I did not.
Sure.
Use your guys' code.
Sure. Drop the call right now,
guys.
Kyle. Drop the call. He's off the show. You are banned from it. No, I'm kidding. Anyway, sorry, you were saying?
Oh crap. You didn't want to?
The Jaguars. Oh. The Jaguars are honestly. I know this is funny to say, but the Jaguars have a really good defense, and I'm kind of scared for our offense. Honestly, this is definitely the best defense we've gone against this year.
Really?
They have. Yeah, for sure. I mean, Oakland do not have a secondary. Miami's secondary is terrible.
Yeah.
The Jaguars are for real.
Yeah.
Jalen Ramsey and AJ Boyd, they're not guys you want to mess with. And I know Calais Campbell had 4 sacks his opening week with the Jaguars. So the Jaguars have a crazy good defense. I'm not scared of Blake Bortles or their offense. So if we want to stay in this game, we cannot be turning the ball over. Josh McCown, he cannot. No fumbles. We got to play smart football. And we have to really make them one-dimensional because we know going into this week the Jaguars are going to give the ball to Leonard Fournette 20 to 30 times. If we can stop the run like we did to Ajayi, make the Jaguars one-dimensional, we can pick off, blitz Blake Bortles. He'll make mistakes and then play smart football. And the Jets can win this game, but not if they try to do too much on offense and if they can't protect McCown. And it'll be over because we'll be the one throwing picks and fumbles and all that crazy nonsense.
Yeah. No, I agree with you on that. I think, it does sound weird to say that the Jaguars are the best team they faced this year, especially when they faced
best defense, I'd say.
Defense. Excuse me. Yeah, no, I knew what you said. I messed it up there for a second, but I think it'll be a tough game. I think we match up well against them. I think that if they can avoid the turnovers, which is something McCown has done pretty well up until this point. The Bills game, when he had to win the game, he wasn't too good. But at that, I think that's the biggest key for the Jets is don't turn the ball over. And obviously, McGuire had the fumble last week. McCown needs to not, as you said, not throw it to Boye and those guys in the back and Ramsey. It's just like if they can hold on to the ball, use Lack Edwards to their advantage, win the field position battle. I think that's the type of game the Jets are going to play. Just defensively, I think the Jets can beat the Jaguars. It's going to be on the offensive side of the ball. So for them, it's just trust your defense, play the field position game, and win the turnover battle, which is, that's the key to pretty much every game. That's not a bold statement, but especially, when you're going up against a team that you can pretty easily, I would say that the Jets have a better defense than the Jaguars have offense. So it's just trust your defense here. If the Jets defense plays any sort of semblance like they did last year, they'll win this game. So offense, just don't lose this game, which is something Josh McCown is actually good at. It's the other way when the offense needs to win the game. That the Jets falter. Kyle, anything to add on what you expect this Sunday against the Jaguars?
I don't expect Josh McCown to do good. Jalen Ramsey and A.J. Boye, Ben, I know we talked about Boye a little bit in the offseason. You were saying that guy's a one-year wonder. He's not a one-year wonder. He's a good corner. And paired with Jalen Ramsey, the best young corner in the game, even over Marcus Peters, it's hard to beat. And we don't have a number one wide receiver to take away from any of those guys. And, their front, they've been putting in work. Calais Campbell, Ryan brought him up. He's having a great year. He was another really good free agent signing for them. They also have Malik Jones on the defensive front, one of the better defensive tackles in the NFL. And sorry, I was just reading a headline there. Apparently Ukraine just dropped a major bomb, so that's not good. But they also have Dante Fowler, who's finally stepping up. So their secondary, their D-line, and, their linebackers right now, Paul Bezussny, Miles Jack, I mean, I don't want to say they're some of the best in the NFL, but they're good. Miles Jack is an athletic linebacker, and I think Ryan's right. This is the best defense we've played all year. And, with Matt Forte out, if you're trying to win the game, I think Matt Forte is the way to go here. But it sounds like he's going to be out. So I don't know how the Jets will fare.
Yeah, and score predictions, guys. I get Ryan again. I'll start with you. Who do you think will win and why, and what's the score?
I'll go 2017 Jets. I think we'll force Bortles to throw 2 or 3 interceptions, and I think McCown will throw a pick this week, but I think that we will win the turnover battle. I think it'll be just a tough, hard-nosed kind of defensive type of ball game.
Kyle?
I'll go.
The anticipation's killing me.
Yeah, I'll go Jaguars 17, Jets 9.
Odd. All right, I'll go. For me, I think the Jets will win this game again, which is going to be then the Jets are 2-2 heading into the game against Cleveland, which will be interesting for the fan base to rewatch this game. I'll say the Jets are going to win 24-16. That's a weird score, but 24-16. I think that's going to be the score. I think the Jets are going to get after Blake Bortles. I think Jamal Adams will get his first interception as a member of the New York Jets. I think Josh McCown is going to play a lot like he has this year. Some good plays, some bad plays. Not amazing. Hopefully you'll see more Darius Stewart, Chad Hansen, Elijah McGuire. I also think ASJ will catch his first touchdown as a member of the New York Jets. All right, Ryan, thank you so much for calling in. Really quickly, shout out your Twitter so our listeners can give you a follow.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me on. You guys can follow me at NY_JetsNation98. Have a good night, guys.
All right, you too. All right, that was Ryan. All right, Kyle. We have a few minutes left. Let's wrap it up. Our review. We kind of went out of order there. We already previewed our Jaguars game, so we don't have to do that. Well, I guess we'll recap the defense for the Dolphins really quickly, and then we'll end on a positive note, the college quarterbacks. So get your rankings ready, and if you haven't already, get your fifth guy ready.
Oh God.
You can go Falk. It's probably the guy right now, right? Oh, Mason Rudolph probably.
Yeah.
Maybe is Baker Mayfield come out, right?
Baker Mayfield, I feel like he's not going to make it in the
Mia
NFL.
Khalifa, but
What do you do in your spare time, Ben?
No, it's on Twitter.
I know, but that's just one of those.
That
things
was on Barstool. That's your favorite website known to mankind, and I read the article.
Yeah, that's just one of those things we ignore. We don't talk about it. We just ignore it. We make it evident, but we ignore it.
All right, fine. I'll recap the story for our listeners. Okay, so Mia Khalifa called Baker Mayfield dad. No,
wait, time out. You have to.
I was joking.
You have to tell everybody who she is.
Mia Khalifa is a professional. No, okay. Continue on with your. We'll break down the defense and we'll get to the quarterback.
She is the.
Okay, don't make the joke. I know where that's going to go, and it's not going to be in a positive way. Defensive line. Statistically and getting after the quarterback, not terrific. I think they at least got some pressures. I think, might not have been counted in the stat sheet, but at least was forcing Jay Cutler outside or up the middle. That was leading to sacks from Jamal Adams, from the linebacking unit. So I thought the defensive line did a lot of the dirty work and won't get much recognition for it. There's also that, and the fact that Jay Ajayi had, I believe, it was like under 20 yards total. I'll get his actual stats, but it's like this defensive line played really well. Kyle, your thoughts on the defensive line in this game?
In the Dolphins game or the Jaguars game?
Dolphins game.
Stat wise, no bueno, but like actual film wise, they did a good job.
Yeah, I guess Jay is 16 yards. So that's all you need to really know about how well, especially if you look at how he gashed us, right? Last year in Miami, I think did he have 200 yards?
Yeah.
He had 200 yards total offense. So that's a difference. And you're missing Sheldon Richardson there, but it just shows you the impact that guys like DeMario Davis and Jamal Adams are having on this team. And it's also a different energy. I mean, although the Jets were, probably definitely favored in more games last year, there's a different energy around this team. It seems like they're just trying harder, and it's also earlier in the season. But good job by the Jets to hold him to 16 yards. Linebacking unit, we talked about this. DeMario Davis, terrific game, his best game of his career. Darren Lee, also, I thought he had a good game, at least an improvement of what we've seen. He's still undersized, and he still needs to be moved outside. But right now, I think is in the role he's kind of playing. I mean, think about it. If you watch how he lines up, they don't. He can still be their starting inside linebacker. But if you can just move him outside, get him out where he's not having to take offensive linemen and fullbacks and big running backs full steam ahead. I mean, if he can work outside in some more zones and outside blitzes and using his athleticism and his speed to his advantage, that's where you're going to see Darren Lee flourish. I thought the outside linebackers, particularly, as you mentioned, Dylan Donahue, David Bass, Jordan Jenkins, Josh Martin, all played well. This defense, just specifically the front seven, just had an amazing game.
Yeah, I agree.
For Kyle, man of many words. And then the secondary, we've already broken it down. Terrence Brooks, 2 interceptions, one although it was on a punt. Jamal Adams with a terrific pass defense and really made his presence felt a lot. Marcus May did a good job of keeping quarterbacks away from the guy he was covering. And then specifically the corners, who haven't gotten much love, had a really good game. Morris Claiborne, Darryl Roberts, Buster Screen all had solid games. Screen I still think is overrated, and I think the only big Dolphins play they had was on Screen coming from the slot. Buster Screen also had a sack, but I believe, I'm trying to remember the exact play, but they completed a pass that went for quite a while. I think it was to Julius Thomas, I believe, but it went for a while, and it was just Buster Screen. So anyways, I think the secondary, specifically the corners and safeties, or specifically the corners, obviously the safeties are part of the secondary, had good games. We've already talked about the special teams. So just overall, great game for the New York Jets. All right, Kyle, are you ready to give me your top 4 and then your other unheralded guy of the week?
Yeah. All right, top 4. Let's run it down. This is going to change. This is definitely going to change throughout the year on how guys play. How they perform in championship games, how they perform against NFL-style defenses. Specifically, I don't know USC and UCLA's schedule off the top of my head. I would hope they play Washington. One of them at least plays Washington once this year.
Yeah, they do.
Okay.
They're all in the Pac-12. So they all play Washington.
Do they not have separate divisions in the Pac-12?
They do, but I believe they all. Oh, you might be. Well, hold on. I believe
because I think it's like there's a Pac-12 West and there's a Pac-12 South.
Yes, but no. Yeah, they should play Washington, right? No, you're right. Never mind, they don't. They play Washington State. That was my bad. I should know that it is a Pacific Northwest.
Pot smoker.
Nope, never have. But all right. Anyways.
What
would you like to add to that, Mr. Fahey? Because I think we can go into your confessions.
Yeah, let's go.
Hey, my state has a very lenient position on that, and even you could argue my high school. But no, Kyle, I will testify under oath.
Yeah, I think your oath means nothing, and I think that's proven.
Why does my oath mean nothing? What have I done to you, Kyle?
Everything. I was gonna bring up an example, but I thought about.
Didn't have any.
Career.
Yeah.
No, I thought about your career. Then all right. It's a bit, guys.
Okay.
It's a bit.
All right. Just keep going.
Yeah. So, beware of these Pac-12 guys. We should learn from Mark Sanchez that they're not always 100, but I think these guys are pretty good this year. These are exceptions. Number one, I'm gonna go Josh Rosen. I'm having a hard time overlooking Sam Darnold's, mechanics. I talked about it a little bit earlier in the show. That could be a problem in the NFL. I think Josh Rosen, the only reason he was not number one for me was because of the attitude and the rumors going around about his his effort, but he does it on the field, and that's what matters to me. If it's really a problem, we'll discover that during draft time. But as of right now, he is my number one quarterback. Number two, it's Sam Darnold. Fix the mechanics, and he's number one, no doubt. Number three, this is where it gets difficult because there are a couple really good quarterbacks this year. Number three, I'm gonna have to go Josh Allen. I love everything about him. He just really needs to become a better decision maker. I said
that's hard to change.
I know it is, but
I know is.
I said I know it is. I know I said that. I know I said that for a fact. But
I know you is.
He's in the system right now in Wyoming where it's all on him, and he is forced to make plays on every single down just to survive because he doesn't have an O-line. He doesn't have good receivers. He doesn't have a reliable back. Last year he had Brian Hill, who I believe was drafted, which helped him a lot and got him on a lot of people's radars. This year he doesn't have that. There's not talent around him, and I think that's a huge thing for him. He needs to go. I hope he's on track to graduate by December so we can see him play in, the North-South game or whatever that's called. It's not the Senior Bowl, but it's the other one.
East-West Shrine game.
East-West Shrine game, thank you. So we can see him out there with some actual NFL talent. That would be nice. Because right now, he's got the best arm I've ever seen. Ever. Up there with, it's better than Patrick Mahomes.
Josh Allen?
And, yeah, he's got a rocket arm. And he's accurate with it, which is rare. So, that's just something I love. And he's a big body guy, small school, not working with a lot of talent. He's really athletic. I'm not going to say sneaky athletic because the only reason people say that is because he's white. The kid has wheels, and he can make plays. And he's got well, it's true. I mean, you look at Deshaun Watson.
That is true. That is the only time you ever hear that.
Yeah. I mean, Julian Edelman's an athletic individual, and they're like, oh, he's sneaky athletic. No, he's white. It's okay, guys. It's just a stereotype. It's not a problem. But, Josh Allen's a much better athlete than Deshaun Watson, but nobody will ever tell you that Deshaun Watson isn't a better runner. Unfortunately, it's a stereotype, and it's not the truth most of the time. So I really like Josh Allen as a prospect. Like I said last year, he would have been my number one, even over Mitch Trubisky and Patrick Mahomes. So, obviously a better quarterback class this year. So you could tell the difference, but obviously things change. Number 4, right now, I'm going to have to go Lamar Jackson. I really like him. I really do like him. It's hard to game plan for him, but I don't want it to be like the RG3 effect, where like have one really dominant year and then they like figure out how to stop you. Because Lamar Jackson, the football player, is unstoppable. Lamar Jackson, the quarterback, has major flaws in his game. His mechanics aren't that great, and I really don't trust him when it matters the most. And I've seen him play against Clemson. It wasn't terrible, but it wasn't NFL. So
He had some nice plays.
he had some nice plays, yeah.
A
But
lot
they were
of them
on
with his legs, but
on
yeah.
his feet. He is great at getting out of the pocket and making plays. And hell, if that works for you in the NFL, do it. But these are new age linebackers. We have Luke Kuechly's. Hell, we even have the Deron Lees that are fast enough to take down Lamar Jackson. I mean, that's how the NFL has transitioned into stopping that. So right now, I'm going to have him at 4, probably around the draft process. I don't think he'll be in my top 5. And that's a shame because I really like him as a player. I would like to see him stay another year at Louisville, honestly. I would like to see him.
He won't do that, but yes.
Yeah, I know. It's a money thing. I completely understand it. I'm all for it.
No,
Go
it's
get
more
the
just
bag.
like you leave when you're hot. I mean, if he could have left last year, he would have. It's like now to put up 2 great seasons, he's not going to risk.
I don't know if this season will be considered like great as last year. I don't know if he'll win the Heisman.
He's had some nice plays.
Number
Oh,
5.
I don't know if he'll win the Heisman, but I just think.
Number 5. This
Good
one's
nice
going to be
season.
this one, out of the quarterbacks, he would be the Heisman winner.
I think it's going to be the same as mine. I'm going to say Baker Mayfield, and let's see what you're going to say. Yeah.
Yep, Baker Mayfield. Kid beat OU and OU. So, it's hard to do. It really is hard to play Ohio State. That's an NFL defense, and he shredded them. You know, the Silver Bullets, they got beat badly by that kid. And I don't know how he's going to translate to the NFL. You know, he's not the biggest guy, but neither is Russell Wilson. He's got a lot of Russell Wilson traits in him. He doesn't have as good as an arm as Russell Wilson, though. So that's why I'm, like, worried about him. Because Russell Wilson can scramble and make all these amazing on-the-dot throws. But Baker Mayfield, he'll come up a yard or 2 short for those, and it'll be, you know, egregious interceptions that we just sit back and watch.
Wow, big word,
What?
Kyle. Nice
What?
job. Egregious. I like the big vocabulary. I was trying to be nice.
I wish I could just slap you sometimes. Like, just give you a nice slap.
I have a photo of you on my wall, and I just throw darts at it all the time, Kyle. I hope you know that.
Huh. How'd you get the photo of me?
I have my ways. Anyways.
All right. Something's definitely out in the air tonight in Oregon. Ben's being a little weird. Ben's stirring up all sorts of stuff, apparently. But, yeah, I don't know how Baker Mayfield's going to translate to the NFL. But I love his attitude. And he has off-the-field issues. So...
Yeah, he does have off the field. I'll hop in. I mean, look, you had we have different lists, but I mean, Kyle is our resident draft expert. I chime in, and I've had my right takes against you, so it's not like Kyle's always right.
Deshaun Kaiser sucks. I just want to let you know how bad he is.
Give him some time, bro.
Oh,
I'm telling
my
you,
God,
Deshaun Kaiser is the best quarterback
bad.
in his class.
Oh, God, he is just
I am on.
terrible.
And my other guy, so Kyle, for those who hadn't listened, Kyle and I have divided ourselves. I am of the Kaiser Deshaun Watson group, and I worry about Deshaun Watson's deep throwing accuracy, and I have my worries about Kaiser. And then Kyle is on the Mahomes-Trubisky bandwagon. Both of his guys are on the bench. Both my guys are playing right now. We'll see who, at the end of the day, cumulatively had the best. You know, it's totally going to be like, I'm going to have one first place, he's going to have second place, then I'm going to have third place, and it'll be something like that. Well, I guess that would be. I'm gonna have first place, then he'll have second and third, and I'll have fourth or something like that, or other way around. But
I'll have first and third.
I could see that. I could totally see that. But I also think, anyways, we'll cut back to this. I'll say Darnold number 1 for me. Rosen behind him, and that's a flip flop of yours. My reasoning behind that is I like Darnold a lot more when I watch him. You know, the Rosen, he makes some good throws, and, you know, if he puts up another few weeks and you know, like he did last week, and Darnold puts up a few more weeks like he did last week, then I think you could flip him. But Darnold is just, I just trust him more. I think he's a better quarterback prospect. I actually don't see as many flaws in his mechanics. It's more, I think he makes some poor decisions sometimes. But I think Darnold is the best quarterback in this class right now. Then I'll go Rosen, as I said. I mean, that big comeback he had, I talked about this with Scott from Play Like a Jet. I mean, it's like, look at that comeback. I mean, he had 4 or 5 times any of his passes should have been intercepted. So I'm not.
Listen,
I'm not all in on the.
Texas was even close. Was his fault.
Yeah, but Kyle, how many times did he get? I mean, he literally threw a pass that was an interception that went through the guy's hands. He had one where he was trying to throw it away, but he got hit. The ball popped up into the air, and then his receiver got he got lucky a few times. I'm not trying to dispute his talent. He has talent. I'm just saying.
Ben, you're making my point. I don't know what your point is here.
Oh, I thought you were saying that he should have won that. I should give him more props because he beat.
No, I was saying that the fact that Texas was even in that game was his fault.
I you know what? That's an example of me just cutting you off before even listening to what you had to say. But my bad.
Yeah. And this
third,
is why we need a counselor. You just don't listen to me.
Okay. Third, I'll agree with you. I'll say Josh Allen. I think he has a lot of talent. I think he's an assistant. The other thing is, it's like you also have to keep in mind how much talent do these guys have around them, and what type of talent are they playing against. With Wyoming, I just don't think they have the recruits on the offensive line and the weapons. So Josh Allen is very intriguing to me. And hey, again, as I said, maybe the Jets win 5-6 games. A lot of fan base is angry, but then the Jets end up with Josh Allen, and he plays well. I think right now, if I had to judge, I think he should go to a place where he could sit for a bit.
He'll be like the Paxton Lynch of the draft, probably.
Well, no, I don't. I think he's much better than Paxton Lynch. I like him more than Paxton. I'm trying to think of a place where he could go. I mean, he could end up in a Denver. I'm trying to think of just a place where he could go where he could have an opportunity, like the Saints, sits for a year behind Drew Brees, 2 years, depending on how long he plays.
Well, Drew Brees will be gone after this year.
Yeah, no, well, that's what I'm saying. That's why they could bring in Josh Allen. Fourth, I'm going to go with a bit of an upset here. It was close, and last time I went with Lamar Jackson. Actually, I had Lamar Jackson third. I'll put Baker Mayfield here. I think the one thing people don't look at is he has 0 interceptions on the year. 3 TDs, 0 interceptions against UTEP. I'm trying to think. Utah, I guess. No, wait, Utah. Hold on. I just got to make sure. I don't want to mess. Yeah, it's UTEP. Okay, I didn't know if that was an abbreviation or something. I don't want to sound stupid. 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions against Ohio State. 4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions against Tulane. 3 touchdowns and 0 interceptions against Baylor. I think he's in a good conference. I think he's playing some good talent. There'll be games down the line where you'll really get to see him, but I think he's definitely my 4th quarterback right now. I think he's a guy that's going to really rocket up the boards. The big issue with him is, and he has some with his mechanics and whatnot, his decision. Well, you can't really even fault his decision making right now. But really, what it is for him is the off-field stuff. He is a bit of a distraction at times. And then 5th, I go Lamar Jackson, who was 3rd last time we did this 2 weeks ago. So I think there'll be some fluctuation throughout the year. But right now, after 4 weeks of college football, those are my top 5. Ours differ a bit, but we have the same 5 guys as right now. Guys like Mason Rudolph, Luke Falk are, swimming around that area. But right now, those are the top 5. And the Jets should have one of them on their roster next year. So, who knows? All right, that'll do it for this episode of the Jet Take. You can always follow us on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook at the Jet Take. You can listen to our show on iTunes, SoundCloud, Stitcher, or iHeartRadio. You can also find us on Turn on the Jets. Kyle and I both write for them, and our show is always on there, and this one should be up tonight if Mr. Fahey is uploading.
I will not be.
You're on for this week, Kyle.
Yeah,
I'm going to start publicly shaming you.
I mean, you didn't upload last week.
It was your week.
I didn't have internet.
I wasn't. 3 voice cracks. Okay, I got to keep you going to get 4. Okay, can I just say that I wasn't a part of that episode, and then you didn't even ask me to upload it until Saturday or whatever, and then by that time the Jets.
And today's Wednesday.
Yeah, but the Jets, and then it was like, okay, the Jets played the next morning because I passed out, and then it was. Anyways, we're very unorganized, and as I said, we probably recorded 12 to 15 shows, and if each show lasts 2 hours, 2.5 hours, that's an insane amount of time I've wasted just talking Jets that was never uploaded, but. Anyways, we will try to make sure this episode is out as soon as possible. Maybe I'll double down. We'll see if I'm a nice guy. Yeah, I think that'll do it for this show. Again, Kyle, you said the Jets will lose the Jaguars, and I said they'll win. I think final score will be 24-16. Kyle, remind me again, what was the Jets' final score again?
17-9.
You said 9. All right, well, we'll see who is more correct. All right, that'll do it for this episode of the Jet Take. Thank you so much for listening. We really appreciate all the love and support we've gotten recently, even with our somewhat inconsistent uploads sometimes. I mean, it gets hard with school and whatnot and different time zones and things going on, but we try to bring you an episode every week. Yeah, and, I bring Ruckus to the ladies. That's a Curb Your Enthusiasm reference. It comes back in a few days. Well-timed. Anyways, we'll talk to you guys. Well, what?
October 10th, right?
October 1st. 2 days.
Ooh.
I know. I think it's the Sunday.
Oh.
I'm pretty pumped.
My Sunday just got a little bit better.
It's Sunday, right? Yeah, hold on. It's the 27th.
Yeah.
I know it's the 1st. Let me see if it's the... Yeah, this Sunday. We're just plugging Curb Your Enthusiasm right now. Anyways, thank you so much for listening to this week's episode. We will make sure to bring you guys our episode next week, hopefully discussing a Jets win, but maybe in the mind of Kyle Fahey, a Jets loss. Again, thank you for the love and support. We really appreciate it. We'll talk to you guys next week. We'll leave you with the best chant in the National Football League. And may I say, it was not very loud last week. So those Jets fans, Ryan, we're looking at you, and those who used our little ticket promo who are going to this game, we got to hear this JTS, Jets chant at this game Sunday. Let's bring the heat. We'll talk to you guys next Wednesday.
Fireman Ed is a fraud.
Okay. Unnecessary, but okay.